Hey, what's up everybody? It's Felix here from HeyDon'tShoot.com, and starting today we're going to be shooting Gearheads Are People Too, but it will now be Gearheads Are People Too with Felix and
Austin.
So I met Austin actually at a photographer and model shoot where I met Matthew, who's shooting behind the scenes video for us today, and he had seen me on YouTube.
Yeah, the first video I'd actually seen from him was his 10 reasons to buy an A6000, and that's what actually helped me choose to buy one.
I was looking for yours, and he bought an A6000. Boom, right here. So there it is. Okay, but today we're talking about speed lights, external strobe lights, and we're going to shoot a variety of different light setups, a variety of different triggers, and we're going to show you how that all looks. But we're also going to compare it to shooting with continuous lighting. So we've got two models. They're getting their hair and makeup done right now. We're going to shoot some portrait shots. And the first one we're going to try out is my Godox TT685. This is a TTL flash. I've got 3 of them. And then I've got the Godox trigger that goes with it. And then we're going to shoot with Austin's...
We're going to shoot with the Yongnuo 560 version 4 speed light paired with the Yongnuo RF603C, which is for Canon flashes, but it works well with the Yongnuo systems as well.
And so as we shoot, we're going to talk about our thoughts about these speed lights, how well they work, but it's also going to be kind of fun because they're both brand new to us. I've only shot with these one time, and
I've only had this for about 2.5 weeks, barely started messing around with it, see how it works.
So there'll probably be a little bit of trial and error and some messing up, but we're going to do some other stuff too. I've got the Sony, this is the FM32, and then we're going to use an on-camera flash, which is the Sony FM20, as the trigger. Now, people online say that that's a horrible way to use an external flash, but we're going to find out, and that's why we're going to do it. So, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so we decided we're going to do a 2-light setup, one behind the model and one to the side. So what I've got here is a Manfrotto, I think this is called a mini stand or something like that. I forget the actual number. And then what you need is an adapter here so that you can put the speed light on top and then tilt it more precisely. Now this will tilt, of course, but what if you want to go down further? Right, because that's as far as that'll tilt down, and if you just mount that straight on, that's all you've got. So you get an adapter, and then we can tilt it up and down more precisely. So the adapter goes on top of the tripod, or not the tripod, but the Manfrotto mini light stand, slides on just as if you were mounting it onto a camera. Good. Now the other thing we can do too, if you want, Austin, we can mount an umbrella on here or a softbox. Or do you want to go with the direct flashlight?
Let's try one of the
Magmod.
The diffusers.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's try the diffuser. So I've never used them before. This will be the first time. So this is it's not a Magmod. It's a Chinese copy is what it is. The price difference was about half price. I think this was 40 or 50 bucks, and the genuine Magmod is going to cost $100 for this set, which to me was just a little bit too much money. And really, how different can it be? It's a rubber piece with, you know, the grid on here. I just thought it was one of those things where it didn't matter if I bought the knockoff. So maybe people on YouTube can comment about it if they've used the Magmods or what they think about using a knockoff. But that's how it goes. But the cool thing about it too, if you want to add some gels, you got another piece here. So you just slap that on there, you can put your colored gel, and then if you want to diffuse it, you just put that over the top. It works exactly the same as Magmod. Alright, so today we're shooting with the awesome Sony a7R II 42 megapixel monster resolution camera. If you didn't know, in the A7R, the R stands for resolution. If you have A7S, the S stands for sensitivity, light sensitivity. So we'll mount the Godox trigger on here. When you put it on, you screw it on so it's tight there. We're going to shoot her straight on. And then I've also got a 5-inch or 7-inch monitor on here because we're in the studio, we're not moving around, right? So it's good if you have the option to use a monitor, you use a monitor. You get a better look at everything.
We were kind of all over the place when we first started this photo shoot. Neither Austin nor I had any real experience using external speedlights, so there was a little trial and error. I had only used my external flashes on one prior shoot, but it was a completely different setting than this one. But that's kind of what this channel is all about, and part of the reason why we call it Hey Don't Shoot. We're always learning and trying to improve our photography skills, and we hope you learn along the way with us. This photo shoot most definitely proved to be a great learning experience. Our models, Vanessa and Brisa, were fabulous. They were both really patient while Austin and I fumbled about, setting up the flashes, moving them around, and making adjustments. Once we thought we had all the external speed lights set up correctly, it was time to start shooting. But it wasn't all smooth sailing.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the shot that Austin suggested, which is to have that light behind the model to give that glow in the background and then another light as the key light. And we're not able to get that light in the background to give it that enough power. It's on 1-to-1 power, it's on full power, and it's not giving us that glow behind the model. In our attempt to get the look that we're trying to get, we have switched out the Magmod filter for a softbox. I have no idea if it'll work, but maybe a little softer, broader light will give a chance to the speed light behind to shine. Maybe it won't, I don't know. I shouldn't have to drop the shutter speed that slow. Bump up the ISO.
I'd say, why don't you put the shutter speed down to like 2 or 250 and the ISO even down more.
Okay, so here's the funky thing, dude. It switched back to TTL by itself.
Is it because of this?
I don't know. It might be.
Because, yeah, look, it shows them all three in TTL.
All right, so let's get the manual.
Here's what we learned with a little trial and error. When working with a trigger and external flashes, 3 in this case, rarely will you ever require the same power on all of them to achieve the look you want. Therefore, be sure to change your trigger and all your flashes to manual and assign each flash to its own group on your trigger. This way you can manually adjust each flash individually to the desired power, and with my Godox setup, you can do it all right from the trigger.
There we go. Now it's looking good, man.
2.8 is still good.
Once we configured each speed light in manual mode, we were able to achieve the look we wanted. The lesson learned here: don't shoot in TTL in this type of setting.
So I wonder if we should do that other setup again.
Yeah. You want to try it again?
Yeah, let's try it again.
Yeah.
I think that's as close as we're going to get. Alright, let's bring it
Well, what if we change that power then?
Yeah, so what you do then is you would put this on B group, and then on this you would hit B group and change B group to
So used to like looking through it.
Uh-huh.
It's like weird having a monitor.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though, huh? Nice big screen.
Okay, so once we finally got it all working, the Godox flashes work really well. You just have to make sure that your trigger has all the settings the right way, because if not, the flashes will do their own thing. They'll switch back to TTL, so you have to make sure the trigger's on manual. And with 3 of the flashes, you get some amazing pictures. You get a nice bounce off the background to make it look like she's lit up. And we were getting some pretty nice shots.
Yeah, the other thing I think we learned, and you'll probably agree, is you cannot shoot in TTL, really. I mean, maybe outdoors or something like that, in where you just need some fill. And then you also want to have these on their own groups, so you can adjust each light to where you need. Because if they're all in the same group and you adjust the power, they're all going to adjust the power. Okay, so we've had success. We got the look that we were looking for, that Austin suggested with the light in the background. We figured out how to work the strobe lights. We got another model coming up. But what we also want to do is show you the difference in when you can control the light, because that's what we're talking about with trigger and flashes, is controlling the light and getting the look you want. If you're not using flashes, you're going to be stuck using continuous lighting, and let's show you the difference in what kind of pictures you can get using continuous lighting versus the flash lighting. So we're going to bring that same model back in, get a few shots with continuous light, and you guys can see the difference. So we've tried to duplicate the look with continuous lighting. We've got two continuous lights going right now. One to the side and one behind. Now, the advantage of continuous lighting is if you like to shoot fast like me, you can just keep shooting all day long. Just shoot, 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 the light's always ready. The downside is that you don't have as much control of the light. The light is what it is. So there is a glow behind her, but it's more like a fill light, just giving her a glow around her head. Because it doesn't pop like the flash and we can't control the power, we don't get that glow that Austin wanted, which is like the glow of the background, like a circular glow. Now the pictures still look good, right? Give me a smile. Yeah, hold it. But you'll see the difference.
Yeah, so we're using the Yongnuo YN560 version 4. And we're going to use the Yongnuo RF603C version 2 trigger. For the trigger, you just want to make sure that it's on TX mode. And for the flash, you want to make sure that when you receive it, it's going to be in TTL or multi. That's what you get it in. You want to make sure you press these two buttons together, that it's an RF63. And then you want to make sure that it's in RX. That'll let you use your wireless trigger to trigger the flash.
So RX means wireless.
Wireless
it's
trigger.
Good to go.
So that means it'll flash.
And it did.
Any direction when you use it.
All right, so you got your flash mount over here. And now we're going to see what type of look you can get when you only have one flash and one trigger. So we had been using my 3 flashes. Don't be jelly. But sometimes you don't have 3 flashes. Sometimes you only have 1 and you have to make do. So let's see what we can get with 1 flash.
So the only difference between the trigger that we were using on the A7R and the Yongnuo series is that while it does trigger the flashes and it's a perfect trigger, if you just want that, you can't control the power of the flash through the trigger. So we're going to go change it.
All right, so this is our second model, Brisa, who I worked with before at the Indigo Hotel shoot. And you're going to shoot some photos, a few photos with Austin before him and his girl run off to their dinner reservations. And then once he's done, I'm going to take over and we're going to do a different lighting setup and some other fun stuff too. So he's got the Sony a6000 on a 1 flash setup, the Yongnuo. So
Because it was.
how are they turning out?
So some of them are really well exposed once we got the lighting right.
Yeah. That was fun.
And when flash is working the best, definitely when the flash is right in front of the mouth.
Okay, so for our last setup today, we want to show you guys what it looks like when you use an on-camera flash as a trigger for an off-camera flash. So this is something that a lot of people do. I just want to show you guys how it looks, because people say that it's not really the best idea because you can't control the light as much as you do with a wireless flash trigger and then being able to move your external lights anywhere you want. Because when you use the on-camera flash as a trigger, you've always got light coming from the front. There's nothing you can do about it. That's your trigger. So let's just see how it looks.
You'll notice that during the photo shoot, all the ambient lighting in the room is turned off. Remember that any lighting will affect your exposure, so just keep that in mind when you're shooting in the studio. Here you'll get a look at my images using a camera-mounted flash that acts as a trigger to an off-camera flash working as a slave. I think you'll get some really nice lighting out of it. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, a lot of people knock this type of flash setup, but the bottom line is, it really doesn't matter what kind of lighting you use. Static lighting, on-camera flash, off-camera flash, so long as the end result are quality images that appeal to you. For my final setup, I changed the backdrop and brought out my Hasselblad 503CW medium format film camera, and I shot a couple of rolls of black and white film. Flash photography with film cameras would require an entirely separate video to explain. Maybe that's something we'll get into in a future video. But for this photo shoot, we just used static lighting. Film photography isn't for everyone, but it sure is fun shooting with a legendary vintage camera like the Hasselblad. As you can see, you get a totally different look when shooting with film cameras compared to digital cameras. It's just different.
All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. We had a lot of fun shooting with the speed lights. We shot the Godox TTLs in a couple of different modes and a couple of different setups, and what we discovered is they're best employed putting them in manual mode and adjusting the power on each light depending on what you need. For a studio setting, we found shooting in TTL was just not really working out for us to give us the look that we wanted. And then you shot?
We shot the Yongnuo YN560 Mark IV once again, and we used only one trigger. The only difference between the two systems, this seems to recycle a bit faster, and with our triggers, you do have to actually change the power on the lens itself. But other than that, it works really well. The pictures came out great. We can't wait till y'all see them.
Hey, thanks for watching another great edition of Gearheads Are People Too on HeyDon'tShoot.com. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, coming up is going to be more of Austin and Felix on Gearheads Are People Too. Thanks for watching.
I'm taking a selfie.
I can't do that.